Welcome to Season 3 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs Podcast. I'm Tyler. If you're new to the podcast, we are three friends and a producer who like to showcase craft breweries and their beers. Also, we like to end every episode with a short conversation on a variety of different topics. If you're not new to the podcast, well, you know what to expect. The three connoisseurs haven't changed, and the producers are always a wild card. Whether you're new or returning, please feel free to listen to all of our previous content. And remember to follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untapped, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also, drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now, for today's episode. Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Tyler.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Brett. And along with us today is producer Joel. That's right. We did find more producers.
Yes.
New season, more producers.
We still had people that wanted to be producers on our podcast. It's amazing. So in today's episode, our first of the season, we will be reviewing Falcon Brewing Company, which is in Ajax, Ontario.
Well, that's just Falcon awesome. We're going to have two beers today. The first is the Red Falcon Premium Ale, which is an Irish red. And the second is a Corn Holsch, which, you guessed it, it's a kolsch.
Oh, there you go.
There it is. And to finish up the episode, we're going to talk about some of our favorite games. All right, we're back, and as you guys can tell, Brett is still here.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, haven't been fired yet. Yeah. There's still time, folks. There's still time.
Somehow Brett made it to the third season.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There it is.
Tyler, let's talk about Falcon Brewing.
All right, Falcon Brewing is located at 30 Bar Road in Ajax, as previously mentioned. The Falcon Brewing Company became incorporated in 2014, so not too long ago.
Yeah.
But this was after a name change. So originally it was Stouffville Brewing Company. I don't know. Have you guys had any beers from them?
No.
Because it was 2013.
There you go. Oh, yeah, that makes a big difference too.
Yeah.
All right, fine. At that time, it was actually contracted through Wellington. They started selling their beer in the Ontario market in 2015 and opened their brewery on March 16th, 2017. So, that's 3 years of progression just to kind of get things kind of moving, right?
Yeah, probably had some business plans set up. Big fan of that.
You would hope so. Yeah. You would hope so. Now, the brewery was launched by Bill Perry and Jim Williamson, who are actually the original founders of Taps Magazine. Which,
that's cool.
Yeah, which at that time was Canada's only national beer publication. So look at that little tidbit of information. We're just full of information starting season 3 off.
Are we a national beer publication?
Yeah, just in a different media form.
Yeah.
I mean, we're published on the internet, yeah.
This is
Fair
true.
enough.
Yeah, and so Jim actually also founded the Ontario Brewery Awards as well.
Cool, which we do follow those every year.
We do. Now, unfortunately, Jim did pass away last year. So did a lot of work for the craft beer scene, and unfortunately, as I said, he did pass away. Now, his son Kent is now actually the manager and handles all the day-to-day operations of the brewery. So kind of passing it down generationally, and yeah, that's nice.
Nice.
Yes. So, kind of a little bit of a history lesson. During World War II, Ajax was home to one of the largest munition plants in Canada, which created military weapons, ammunitions, etc., and actually was a home set of production for the TV show Bomb Girls, which was a drama ran on Global for 2 seasons back in 2012 and 2013.
Oh.
Anybody ever check that one out?
I did not.
No, I was going to say, you would have watched it if it was a reality show, but since it's a drama, that's a no
That'd
for you,
be a really weird reality TV show.
There's weirder.
You're right.
So they honored the contributions of the women and the town of Ajax through two of their beers, munitions, and Bomb Girls.
Nice.
Nice.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, makes sense. So their former head brewer is Crawford McFadden, who started out as a head brewer all the way back in the 80s.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. But then he stopped to focus on his career, so a career other than brewing, I guess.
Right.
And now brewing is kind of his retirement gig. So, that's a pretty good retirement gig. I would take that. Now, a guy named Jake has taken over as their brewmaster. Jake's making the beers.
A guy named Jake.
With
Crawford helping out.
Exactly.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so Falcon has 5 main core brews that are available all year round. So the Premium Ale, and we're going to get into a little bit more of that later on.
Okay.
The Krumlov, which is a Czech Pilsner. It seems to be a fan favorite.
Okay.
Oh, Vienna.
Oh, Vienna.
Not OV. Oh, no, not that. It's actually a Vienna lager.
A different OV.
Yeah, so it's on tap at most of their licensees. The Salem Stout, and then their Munition IPA, which is a nice, rich and juicy kind of IPA.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, they also offer many seasonals at their bricks and mortar location, including a hazy pale ale, a peach sour a peach sour and a lime wit.
Comma.
Yes,
Really good.
commas.
Now, do you want Brett to mention this next part?
Yeah, that might be perfect
I
for
think
you,
that's
Brett.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I am hungry. I haven't ate much.
Yeah.
So they do offer a good selection of food. And some of these are my personal favorites. Now, you can check off if you like these with me.
Okay.
Pulled pork sliders.
Yes.
Jalapeno poppers.
Yes.
Pizza rolls.
Yeah.
Matzo sticks.
Absolutely.
All right, now I know we're going to have lunch one day.
There we go. Now, they did provide some beers that we've obviously talked about. We're actually given more extras.
We were.
A goodie basket, if you will.
Quite the package that arrived, I will say. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Greatly appreciated. So we do have the O Vienna, the Crumb Love, the White Wedding, which is the Lime Wit, and Sour Power, which is a peach sour. Looking forward to that one. Got my hands on one of those cans.
I
You
also did too.
Yes, you did. You were eager to get that
I
one.
physically put my hand on it and took it.
Yeah. Producer, bad timing.
He was a little busy
There you go.
doing other things.
For sure. So we also got a couple of toques with that and a couple of baseball hats that we divvied out amongst the groups. And,
I got a great hat.
You did get it.
I look stellar in it.
You
yeah,
do.
I think we've got to put a picture of Brett with that baseball hat
Yeah.
right on the Instagram.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. We'll do that later.
We'll do that. We also got some koozies, some stickers, and then some free drink tokens to make us go to Ajax. So
Yeah. And have some of those pulled pork sliders, I think.
exactly,
Yeah.
right?
that'd be nice.
And I
That'd be
think the reason why they gave us the free drink tokens is because not a single one of us has been to the brewery yet.
nice. No,
That is true. It is true.
but I'm okay with that.
Exactly.
If that's what it takes to get me to a brewery, everybody, you can send beer tokens to the following address.
Well, I will say, for our loyal listeners that were listening in season 2, I was catching a lot of flack for having not had beers from the brewery before the episode. And so, a little secret to all the listeners, usually the beer gets delivered to my house. So I
Or
was
to a producer, but you get it first.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was able to have one of the extra beers before any of you. So I have had one beer from Falcon, and you guys have had none.
You know what, Chris? Well played.
Yeah.
Well played.
It's funny you say this because prior to you coming here tonight, which you're late, we actually had a
8 minutes late, actually.
discussion about this, and actually Brett was very astute on this, and he said, you know what, I bet you any money that Chris had one beer prior to this episode, so he doesn't start season 3 with a goose egg.
Absolutely.
Right now, season 3, if you look at the scoreboard, Chris won. The rest of us,
0.
no score.
Yeah.
That's going to change quite quickly.
That is my goal this season, not to have any donuts.
Oh,
Hey, you know
yeah.
what? That's a good goal to have.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We actually have really sucked on that goal so far.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say some of the breweries that we've lined up. I think it's going to be tough because we've got a lot of good breweries that are just a little bit kind of hidden away. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got a lot of new stuff coming.
Yeah.
Stuff that we haven't interacted with before. But the one beer that I did have was the O Vienna, which was the Vienna lager. So it was a pretty decent beer. I gave it a 3.25.
Okay.
There you go.
So the brewery looks inside. I do know one person who has been to the brewery, a listener of the show, Trevor. You've known him. He's been on the show before.
Nice.
Kind of said that's a nice open space with a great view of the production area, smooth handmade wood tables. He was only there to pick up some stuff, but if he wasn't time constrained, might have stayed in for a couple pints.
Fair enough.
So Trevor, get better with your timing.
Now, on Untapped, they have over 12,000 check-ins with an average of 3.41. The highest main beer, which is over 100 check-ins, would be that Salem Stout, and it's at 3.68 with 381 check-ins. And the Destroyer Double IPA at 3.6 with 355 ratings.
Yes.
Nice.
So they are pumping out some beers.
Yeah. So when I was looking up some, research for Falcon, I came across an interview with one of the current co-owners, Linda Sharman. So she stated that when someone comes into the brewery, you can tell right away who has Untapped and who doesn't. Because when they get the glass, the first thing they have to do is get the right camera angle and then brag about it. That's like 630 different beer that they've tried.
That's it?
Right? I was like, oh, okay.
630.
Like,
Wow,
I don't know if you've ever
amateurs.
seen our producer, but like, this person gets down like on his knees almost, has to get the right angle for every single
You
picture.
have to.
Yeah.
Really?
We need some of those like picture of the picture pictures.
The
to
behind the
post.
scenes
yeah,
pictures.
Exactly.
Maybe more of those are going to happen this year too.
Oh, that's a good
We should
idea.
do that. Be a little behind the scenes action.
I don't know. The back of my head's ridiculous. So they also do provide board games, which is going to inspire some of the theme conversation that's going to come up at the end of this episode. They host open mic nights every other Sunday, along with live music every weekend. So they have a lot of things that are going on. And this is going to be a thing that I think is going to attract some individuals.
Correct.
Which is kind of funny because I was just talking to my wife.
Oh, first wife drop of the season.
exactly.
There it is. And it didn't come from Brett. One of her family members, actually, we were just talking about this the other day. They have Dungeons and Dragons every other Thursday, sorry.
Oh.
And he's a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons and told me to shut my mouth and stop making fun of it. So,
Well, you know what? Maybe all you need is a beer from Falcon.
or 8.
Beers from Falcon, sure.
Yeah.
Dude, go through the whole list.
There we go.
To get through it. They also have Taps for Toonies Euchre Night and lots of donation drives that they donate to hospitals, homeless youth within the area.
Beautiful.
Brewery hours, because, maybe we should make a trek up this year between these times.
Sure.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday, they're open from 12 to 8. Thursday from 12 till 10, and Friday and Saturday from 12 till 11.
Yeah, and if you're not near the brewery, there is free delivery to the Ajax and Pickering area on orders over $30, and then the rest of Ontario is subject to the size of the order. That's the delivery fee would be subject to that.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, totally. And always, as we have in previous seasons, we're going to link to their information on our social media.
And we haven't had a beer this season yet, boys, have we?
We have not.
We need to change that. Let's get on to the first one.
And we're back for the first beer of the season.
Very
So,
aggressive.
Yeah, that was an aggressive. We're
Yeah,
back.
kinda like
you could
a
have just said we're back.
kind of like a Falcon. I'm aggressive.
Wow.
So big thank you to Emily from Falcon for supplying the beers on today's episode, plus all the additional swag. So thank you very much. Yep, little golf clap there. So the first beer we're going to have, as mentioned, is the Red Falcon Premium Ale, which is a 5% ABV and unlisted IBUs.
Yes. So this full-bodied red ale is crafted in small batches using a unique blend of 4 different malted barleys. Okay. So an Irish red ale comes from using a moderate amount of kilned malts.
Kilned?
Kilned.
Yep.
Yeah. English, again, not my strongest language.
Okay.
And roasted barley.
What is your strongest language?
You
You asked me that the whole time. I have no answer for you. Anyway, so roasted barley, which gives the beer the red color. A tailored red ale will have an approachable hop bitterness that rests on the palate and has a medium candy caramel-like malt sweetness.
Nice.
Yeah, sounds good. To follow that up, Northern Brewer hops and roasted barley add both kind of a depth of the kind of color as well as the flavor in this. And we hope to see that when we crack her open and see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Now, what we want to do is kind of think of an Irish red ale style as a cousin to a lightly toasted and buttered bread.
Interesting.
I do like a lightly toasted bread with butter on it.
There you go. Would you always call it bread or would you just call it toast at that point?
Comme ci, comme ça. Potato, potato.
There you go.
Lightly toasted and buttered bread is toast with butter.
Oh, man. All
Each
right.
their own.
Season 3. Gosh, you're going to be good for me.
Yes.
Well, getting back to this beer on Untapped, as always, you can follow us at Craft Beer Connoisseurs and on our Instagram at Craft Beer Cons. And the overall rating for this beer is 3.31 out of 5 with about 2,400 check-ins. 29 5 out of 5s, though. So,
You know,
pretty
Tyler,
decent.
even though you made fun of me there for my toast and bread joke, I do like when you...
It's not a joke.
I do like when you say these words, so please do it.
Well, that's good. I was going to say we were actually no longer going to be doing this anymore. We're going to be changing it up, but I'll do it, I guess. All right.
Fine, we'll allow it.
Grab your glass, grab your can, and for the first time in Season 3, let's open her up. What do you guys think of that suspense?
Not as aggressive Chris's, I'm back! right?
Welcome back.
Oh, man. Well, we are drinking this beer out of an Imperial pint glass, so make sure to use your proper glassware.
Nice little pour here.
Oh, what a pour.
That's great.
I'm working on my pours
Fantastic
for
pour.
this season, too.
And
Yeah.
I think we almost all have the same port. Tyler's a little bit under, but
Whoa, check that eyesight there, fella. Yeah, all right, we'll match him up side by side.
well, cheers too.
There we
we're
go.
there.
There
Okay.
you go.
No, left
No,
me hanging.
okay, never mind.
All right, what do we see here, guys? What are we looking at?
Definitely red, like a burgundy, I would say.
Yeah, copper.
Yep.
Like a deep copper.
Yeah, deep copper, yeah.
Yeah,
It's got that red hue, as they say.
Yes.
as they say, yes. The head, a little bit of a head there. Not anything huge.
No, but like a light brown head.
Yeah.
As you would expect from this Irish red ale.
Definitely get that candy caramel on the nose.
Oh, you've moved to the nose. What do we got there?
Usually be you first with your snifter size, but you know what?
It's true. It's true. Yeah, no, I get some of that candied caramel,
Yeah.
as well as kind of like that toast that we talked about.
The toasted bread.
Yeah,
Yeah.
toasted buttered bread. I can't let that go.
I can already see you're not. So,
Oh, man.
well,
So there's not a whole lot, I think, kind of coming from that, right? I mean, the appearance is what it's going to be, and you guys will see that in our Instagram picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we could probably start getting into it a little bit. It's
I'm
good.
thirsty.
Yeah, and to note also, the head has basically dissipated
It has,
right
yes.
now. But
Yeah, I think this might be one that does a decent lacing, though. But
Yeah.
we'll see
Yeah,
how that
I think
kind
we'll
of
see a lot of lacing on this.
goes through it. So,
Okay.
let's take a dip.
all right. First sip. It's almost lighter than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit heavier.
Definitely sweet.
Yes.
Definitely getting
Yeah.
that sweetness.
Yeah.
Lots of sweetness, and yeah, like you mentioned, Tyler, it's not heavy in the sense of like, you know, like a stout feels heavy. You know what I mean? Like it comes off very light, almost not quite like a lager, but you know, kind of closer to that than a stout, for example.
But
Almost. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no.
I was going to say the candy caramel sweetness in terms of. I always kind of compare a candy caramel to like a Weathers original because that's obviously what it is in terms of beer, and it definitely almost tastes like a liquefied version of a Weathers original.
Okay.
Yeah, it on the front end, it actually is very sweet. As I take some more sips, but it's obviously not artificial sweetness from an adjunct or anything like that. Is coming from the malt. I think it hits on everything that it was described as.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Is like I'm getting a lot of the maltiness, but that like it's good, right? Like it's a good combination of the malts that they've used in here, and I think it actually is pretty balanced throughout. Again, sweetness up front, but because it's light and the mouth feels nice, it finishes well, and I think it's a pretty good beer.
Well, it's one of those things. It's their premium ale.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
This is not a regular ale.
Yeah,
Right? You're
premium.
paying a price point to get the premium ale. Okay.
Yes.
That's why I kind of did jokes segueing to the can art. I really like this design in
Yeah?
terms of the can art. A lovely falcon. Who could have thought? That's red. And this would be very, very attractive to me if I was walking into the LCBO. It almost looks like an old school, like 90s logo, or as you guys mentioned off air, kind of like something you'd see in Mexico, or I think Russia was the other one too.
Yeah, I just think again, kind of
Like an international beer.
Yeah, like
in general.
Yeah, those places are international. Yep.
Yes, but like not necessarily specific to any one place, right?
the more that I look at the can a little bit too, is it gives me a big Heinz feel to it. The ketchup,
Like
brand.
Heinz ketchup.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's just the way that the logo is kind of bordered out gives me that kind of like the Heinz.
Oh, I
57
see what you're
kind of-
saying. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But yeah, very clean and presentable.
Yeah, one more thing on the beer maybe before we get into the top 5 flavor profiles is sometimes with this toasted malt that is put into beers, you get a lot of bitterness coming with that, and I'm not really getting much bitterness at all out of this beer.
That sweetness is just overpowering.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not overly sweet in a bad way, I don't think.
Exactly.
And when we talk about like the caramel taste, for me, is it's almost like a deeper kind of caramel. You know what I mean when I say that? Instead of kind of like the the light caramel side. It's
Right.
it's kind of deeper, which I would almost say it's probably not like burnt caramel, but kind of approaching that. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yep.
just a little bit more more flavor.
Would you say maybe toasted caramel?
Yeah, I would. Almost buttered.
Lightly buttered caramel.
I would. Top 5 flavor profiles. You want me to do them?
Go ahead.
Sure.
So number 1, smooth.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I think sweetness would be my number one, but it's definitely smooth.
Yeah, I was going to say smooth. It is a smooth beer, but it is not my number one profile.
Yep. Number 2, malty.
I mean, top 5, but not 2 as well.
Yeah, and I would not call it malty. I would call it caramelly or whatever.
Caramelly.
Yeah.
Caramelly.
Okay.
Okay, good to know.
Good. Sweet is number 3.
Yes.
Numero uno for myself.
Yeah, same.
Okay. And number 4 is light.
I think at the very beginning of this is drinks light, but as you get further through it, it gets heavier as it goes on.
Yeah. And to be honest, it kind of hit. This was a 5%. It kind of is hitting me like a tiny bit more than that.
I agree, yes.
Yeah.
And then full.
Full.
Yeah, I've never tasted full before, but and that's why it kind of it's kind of one of those
I'm
things.
not
Again,
going to go there.
top 5 flavor profiles, kind of like, should be another kind of term for it, if you
Yeah.
will. Characteristic profiles, maybe.
I think just kind of full-bodied.
Yeah.
And that maybe
know what
goes.
they're going for.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that kind of goes back to the whole balance kind of thing.
I mean,
but-
I would say it's full of flavor. Like this.
Yeah.
This is not lacking of flavor.
Right. Yeah. So producers coming in with a couple as well, roasty, caramel, as we've mentioned.
Yeah.
We'd probably move the 1 to 5 around.
Yep.
Totally.
Cool.
But we got our producer's thoughts. Now we should maybe talk about other people's thoughts on this beer as well.
Why don't we do that? We should
Yes.
definitely do that.
Tyler, I think you have the very first one.
I do. So the first one is Ray. The handle is RCW80. Stated on November 21st, 2021. I was waiting for somebody to say, "Oh, the day before your birthday." It's fine, guys.
November 21st? That's the day before your
my
birthday.
God.
Oh, my God. No way.
Anyways, full-bodied red ale that pours a deep red color, which we all agree on.
Yes.
Roasted barley aromas with a caramel malt flavor. Slightly sweet and hoppy with a long finish. 3.75 out of 5.
You know what, that long finish, now that you kind of mention it, the finish is definitely long. It stays there.
Really?
Not in an off-putting way by any stretch of the imagination, but
Yeah.
you're still tasting the beer even though you don't have the beer going down near the hatch.
Okay.
Yeah, I just took another sip while you were saying that, just to kind of test that theory, and I'd say it's longer than
Longer than the average.
An average, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
So the second Untapped review comes from Tim L. Handle is tlang88. On March 18th, said tastes like an ale. Simple. Nice malt flavor profile, and Tim gave it a 3 out of 5.
Now, before we
Yep.
get going, there's one thing I just want to mention to follow back a little. What we were talking about earlier on is the lacing on this.
Yeah,
There's no lacing at all.
there is not.
It's just kind of going down fairly good on mine, and as the beer falls, the lace falls.
Yeah,
So there's not a whole lot sticking to the inside of the glass.
Good
and that's
call.
okay.
Yeah, good call on that one.
Yeah.
All right. So for my rating, I'm going to kind of be between Tim and Ray there. Ray had a 3.75. Tim had a 3. I am going to give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I think that's a very reasonable rating. I'll butter mine up and go with a 3.5 as well.
Wow.
Are you going to toast me on this one, Chris? Or
Yeah,
what's your plan here?
I'm gonna copy the both of you, and I was planning to do a 3.5 well before either of you said that. So we're all thinking on the same wavelength. This is, I would probably say, knowing the style of this beer, this is better than I was expecting. I would rate it.
Yeah,
I agree.
I would agree. Yeah,
And producer Joel coming in a little bit lower than us at 3.25.
Okay, so that's going to give us a team overall score of 3.4375. Obviously, we're going to round up because the 3 people who have that voice on air have 3.5s. So,
So we get the
you guys
veto
going
power.
to go 3.5? You going to go to that?
Absolutely.
3.5 works.
Okay, let's move on to beer number 2.
Welcome back to the second beer.
Yeah.
And this beer is called Corn Holsch.
Ooh, I like a little Corn Holsch.
Yeah, which is a kolsch. Makes sense. Coming in at 4% ABV with 20 IBUs.
You know, I'm pretty glad that this beer has found its way into our flight plan here. And just a FYI, a flight plan is what they call their flights at Falcon.
Is that right?
Yeah, just had to sneak that in there.
Oh, snuck it in beautifully.
Yep, you got her. Anyway, so a kolsch is a top fermented beer style with a light fruity yeast note and aroma, and taste that should also provide a pleasant hoppy bitterness.
There you go. So Falcon developed it for their Cornhole Wednesdays,
Oh, that's fun.
which they host during the summer.
On Wednesdays, I suppose.
Not like a little hump day cornhole.
Yep.
There you go.
So this beer is best served when beating Brett at a game of cornhole, which doesn't take much. All we got to do is just throw the beanbag
And hit the hole.
and hit the hole.
I've never played. I don't know if I've played cornhole in general.
Really?
I
Yeah.
wonder why it's called cornhole.
I don't. It's a very American thing.
Yeah.
I've played cornhole actually against producer Joel, and I beat him.
Wow.
And
While
we-
munching on a corn on the cob.
No, we were actually played it at Grey Matter in Kincardine.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. Great brewery. Anyway, keep going.
All right.
Not a good cornhole player, let me tell you. Actually, it was neck and neck, and I think I took it by 1 point, and I don't want to say he was a bitter Betty about it, but it was a long drive home.
Well, Joel's a sore loser. So,
Agreed. Okay.
so on Untappd for this Corn Holsch, there are 18 check-ins with a 3.72 rating. The highest rating received so far out of those 18 is a 4.25. There's been 2 of them, so we shall see what we have in store for this beer.
Yes.
The only way to see what we have in store is probably grabbing the can and grabbing the glass.
Let's do it.
And let's open her up.
All right. Well, we are drinking this beer today out of a pint glass. Kolsch's are best enjoyed out of a Stang glass, but unfortunately we don't have one. So either way, make sure to use your proper glassware.
Nice. I poured mine with a little bit of a vigorous kind of pour just to get a nice little fluffy head on it.
Yeah, me too.
And I've accomplished that.
I'd like to say I barely fit it all in there,
Yeah.
but I did.
Again, that, just the way that you pour it, sometimes you have to compensate for that head, right?
Absolutely.
Good.
Okay.
All right, what do we got on the look there? Brett, do you have anything that you want to mention?
Nice golden color, for sure.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Sorry.
Yeah, you're all right.
You were holding the burp in a long time ago. I got this one in. I got about a 1 finger head right now.
Okay.
Looks pretty clean and crisp.
It
throughout
does.
So far.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about this. Has that typical Kolsch kind of color as well.
Yeah, kind of like a light corn color, if you will.
Maybe.
Yeah.
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 Would you toast your corn or just like a lightly butter corn?
You have to butter it.
You got to butter
absolutely.
that baby up and put a little salt and pepper on her.
Absolutely.
There it is.
Yeah, this one looks really good. Smells nice too. Actually, it's got a really nice aroma.
Ooh, actually, it does.
Yeah, I don't know how to place that right now, to be honest with you.
It has like pale ale vibes almost.
Yeah.
The hop aroma is definitely coming through in this one.
Yeah, which is not common for a Kolsch,
Right.
but
Correct.
That's okay.
And
I'll
just so
take
you
it.
know, for any allergies, may contain soy and oats.
There you go.
So any allergies?
I'm good on that front.
Okay.
Let's start drinking it.
Yeah.
I just want to say that before we start drinking it because I didn't want to have, brush out my first aid CPR tonight.
All right. Now, we haven't had many Kolsch's on the podcast over
No.
the...
I think
No,
the
we
only one I
haven't.
can really think of is the Absent Landlord from Cowbell.
We did have one from Farm League, I believe.
League as
yeah.
well.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
So just a couple over the last
That would be two.
2 seasons.
Number
one per
3 for
season.
season 3. Yeah,
Yeah, one
there
per
you go.
season. There you
Met our
go.
quota.
We have ended our Kolsch's for the season 3.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on this one?
Definitely a nice crisp Kolsch. Like obviously, a Kolsch is very, very similar to a lager, and definitely when you're drinking this, you get kind of that lager experience where it's very crisp, very clean, super refreshing, which is nice because it's quite warm. So yeah, everything you would expect from a Kolsch.
It is insanely warm. Need to open up the AC here in a second. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's insane.
By the end of this episode, we're going to have terps off Brett, and I'm not prepared for that.
Please no.
Yeah. Anyways, it is a very light beer. Again, it's a nice kind of flavor to it, right? So it's not overpowering, but it's not, it's not kind of, I don't know, watered down either. Because sometimes I find with some kolsches is it could be like just too much flavor, and then other times it's just flat.
Yep.
This one I think plays a pretty good kind of mid-range game.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned flat. There's some good carbonation in this beer that I'm getting. Which
Highly
is
carbonated
nice.
for sure. I think it's exactly what you expect from a kolsch. It's not going above and beyond, but it's not, subpar as well.
Yeah, and we haven't mentioned this for a while, I think, but this is almost one of those beers that you would expect as like a transition beer from your lagers into that, craft beer kind of scene. This would be a super easy beer for someone who loves their lagers to get into, I think.
So talking about something easy that's definitely eye-catching. Take a look at the can.
Great can.
Okay. Whoever designed this can, fantastic job. Okay. So it is a beer mug walking. Okay. Has some feet on it. Throwing a beanbag. You can't see the board, the cornhole board, but I'm going to assume it's probably scoring 5 points if you played like the 1-3-5 kind of cornhole.
Now, question about this beer mug here. Do you think that is his chin or is that his beer gut?
Ooh.
Oh, you know what? He's either got a double chin or a gut. You are a good call on that one. I think it's a gut because you can see the belly button kind of outline.
I'm thinking beer belly.
Yeah, it's just a weird configuration because the legs are extremely long.
It almost looks like a mixture between like a Simpsons caricature and the Kool-Aid guy.
Yes, yeah, it's like the beer Kool-Aid guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll put it to our listeners. What do you think? Whether it's the chin or the beer gut? I agree with you guys. I think it's the beer gut.
Yeah, Team Belly.
Team Belly. Who's Team Belly? Who's
Or
Team Chin?
Chins. We'll put the poll up. Hashtag Team Chins.
Get on that, Joel.
Or hashtag Team Belly.
Oh my goodness.
Well, in terms of the top 5 flavor profiles, why don't we go there? Number 1 is light. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it is light. It's a kolsch, so it's a little bit different than that kind of lager. So it's a little bit not as light as a lager, which gives us a little bit more of a flavor, I would say.
Yep.
But still, as it is for kolsch, I'd still think it's a relatively light kolsch.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be number 1 for me. I think crisp would be number 1 for myself, but definitely within the top 5.
Yeah, which is number 2,
Yes.
crisp. So
Great transition.
yes, great. You did a great job, Brett.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And number 3 is crushable. We hadn't mentioned that yet, but yeah, I think I could
Oh,
definitely.
I could crush a couple of these.
This is only 4%. You could definitely crush
Like
these.
you play like a best of 3 cornhole, you're probably getting through at least maybe 2 or 3 of these.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're playing Brett, and then you're probably only getting one in because you're
You're wiping the floor.
plowing that beanbag into there.
Oh man,
I'm more of a
Joel
shuffle-
liked that
You
one.
know what?
Yeah, he did.
A little segue for later, but I'm more of a shuffleboard guy.
Yeah.
Oh, shuffleboard.
I would say, I'd probably be on like a Team A. If you're Division A of cornhole.
Oh yeah, and I only play with people in Division A.
Yeah.
Number 4 is smooth.
Yeah, just like my cornhole game.
Yeah, and there's no number 5. There's just 4. So
And just for the listeners out there, they're making fun of me because of my volleyball reference that I've made off air a couple times, that I only look for people that play A-level volleyball and not like C or D. So
Pretentious much.
Anyway,
For another one, I would say this kind of goes with the crushable light kind of area, but I would say refreshing.
yeah.
I'll give you that.
Again,
100%.
it's pretty refreshing. I think you mentioned it earlier on. Chris,
And
when you were talking about
before we move on, we did mention on the nose that we were getting kind of that hop flavor or hop scent, and I'm not necessarily getting a ton of
Yeah.
it as we drink through
Yeah.
it.
I would agree.
Yeah, you're not getting that lovely flavor profile, if you will.
Yeah.
All right, Brett, why don't you stop talking about yourself and start talking about some of these Untapped?
Should I start talking about a beer turtle?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going to, the first review comes from Beer Turtle 73. ironically the same handle. Doesn't want to give away its first name.
Makes sense.
Okay. On July 22nd, so this beer is light, crisp, crushable, with a mild bitterness on the finish. Do you guys see the mild bitterness on the finish?
Not really.
No.
I don't really get bitterness at all.
But he thinks it's a nice little kolsch.
Sure. And was there a rating there or no?
No.
No. Okay.
Again,
No
18
ratings.
check-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. And we know not all Untapped users rate the beers, unfortunately.
Yep.
The next one comes from Carson. Handle is Plant Drinks Beer. On July 18th, said that it's a very nice light beer paired extremely well with his spicy lo mein.
Oh.
You know,
Okay, I can see that
I haven't
pairing.
had a spicy
Yeah.
lo mein in a long time.
This would go well with spicy food.
Sure.
I
Yes,
can
I
see
think
that.
so.
It just cools it off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good pair.
Carson, also no rating.
Nice.
Yeah.
So-
I'd like to be cooled off right now. God, it's hot.
Well, I know our
Jesus.
listeners are dying for some ratings, so I'm going to start us off. Out of 5, I like this beer quite a bit, actually. I'm going to go with 3.75.
All right.
I'm going to be a little bit below you there. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I'm going to double up on that and go with a 3.5 as well. And for producer Joel, they're going to give it a 4.
Ooh.
Oh, Joel's going
It's
highest
the
this
highest
time.
rating of the season so far, a 4.
So, Chris, what's that get us?
That's going to give us an overall of 3.6875, which we are going to round up to a 3.75.
Yes, so that does conclude the review of Falcon and the beers that were provided for today's episode.
All right, so coming up, we're going to discuss our favorite games. All right, summer is coming to an end soon.
Damn
It
it.
is.
Almost too soon, don't you think?
It's so short.
It is.
I don't like it.
I know.
I mean, I love summer. I don't like how short it is.
I know.
I knew we were going with. Don't worry.
So with that being said, breweries are probably going to start switching over to some of those stout seasons.
Yeah.
And some of
Out of
those...
sour season.
I love sour season.
I know you do.
Which might actually include some, nights in with a good game. And so we talked about the brewery, Falcon Brewery, and they have, some board games and they do all that jazz.
D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons. So I kind of wanted
If
to...
that's your thing.
Yeah, I wanted to dovetail off that. So I guess just generally, did anybody kind of grow up or currently play like card games or board games? Anybody? Let's go with you, Chris, and we'll kind of work our way around.
Yeah, I have definitely memories of being at my grandparents' house playing Scrabble as a kid. And I'll be honest, I mentioned Joel earlier was a bit of a sore loser. I'll own up to being a bit of a sore loser. In the past, playing Scrabble, if someone took my space,
It was your space, was it?
yeah, that was gonna be.
Did they go meet Larry and Randy, like your left and right hands, and you just clock them in the face, or what?
No, I remember one time I knocked all the letters off the board.
Oh
in
my
anger.
goodness.
Yeah. So doing that, there's this game called Triominoes, which is kind of like dominoes, except they're triangles, and you have to match up like two of the sides instead of just one side.
Sure.
I remember playing that as a kid. But yeah, that's kind of Crazy Eights. That was kind of like my card game that I would play. So
Okay.
yeah, as a kid, that's kind of what I did.
Okay, what
Nice.
about as an adult?
Well, yeah, sure.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
we're
Yeah,
getting there.
Yeah, we'll get there in a second.
Myself, when I was younger, more so Uno
Oh, yeah.
was a big one for myself.
What about Skippo?
No.
It's made by the same people as Uno. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Also, Monopoly. Also, Monopoly. Why does it last so long?
I hate Monopoly.
I
Like,
love
why?
Monopoly.
Like, I had to end up my wife loves Monopoly so much that I had to buy it on the PS4, and we played it on the PS4.
Yeah.
What?
Yes. And I'd never have no fun in my life playing my PlayStation than doing that on a Friday night.
I love Monopoly. I think it's a good game.
You would like Monopoly.
It's a good game to teach kids finances.
It's a good concept, but to your point, Brett, it just takes so
Yeah.
long.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Scrabble. My dad and myself love to play Scrabble. I usually beat him, but his issue, not mine.
From conversations we heard offline, I'm not surprised.
His issue, not mine. And actually, the Monopoly with the NHL Monopoly back in the days did that a lot.
Sure.
And also, the Home Improvement, the board game. I don't know why. I'm a big fan of Home Improvement.
I love Home Improvement
Also,
as well. I didn't know
why
there was
is
a board
that
game.
not on any streaming service right now?
I don't know.
It's not on Netflix, Amazon, like Crave, anything.
Tim Allen-
Why is that not on
Tim
something?
Allen was always problematic.
I know.
Was he? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's always blowing up.
That's
stuff.
a good point, Brad. It should be on some
It's
sort
got-
of
oh, I
streaming
would watch
service.
that in a heartbeat.
I would too.
It's way better than watching 5 seasons of The Nanny through COVID.
I have no clue what that is.
Nobody said you had to do
Exactly.
that. All right. Maybe I'll go to Joel first. So Joel lists a couple. So Scrabble, chess. Now, Joel was a chess champion.
Wow.
In your house? Or like, where?
So, funny story, I was also a chess champion. So,
Were you?
I would love to maybe duke it out on the old chessboard. That'd be interesting.
Joel chiming in elementary school.
Yeah, so it was the same thing.
He gave it up once he got to high school.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I'm a champion in grade 8.
I'm done.
I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm retiring from chess.
Quit while you're on top.
Retiring from chess.
And then a variation of just a similar kind of game, checkers. And then I don't know if he just mistyped this, but he's got ants in his pants. With an emphatic head shake, too. Like,
Yep.
Dance around here a little bit.
I don't know what ants in your pants are. And Joel's too busy on his phone, so we're not going to get any further explanation for that. Also, snakes and ladders.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Yes.
It's amazing how you can go from chess to snakes and ladders, you know?
Well, I think actually Joel was looking up his championship that
Ants
he
in the
won in
pants.
grade
I
8.
think ants in your pants is almost like tiddlywinks, where you got to like jump the ants into
Yes, okay.
the pants.
Yeah.
So kind of like tiddlywinks.
He's giving you a nod as well, yeah.
Almost like a, I shouldn't say almost, I should say another game, Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Not at all.
No, that's completely
But I've
different.
played it. I play it to this day, actually.
All right. So I'll kind of move on a little bit from that to myself. Categories. Played that growing up. You got a couple other ones that I'll mention a little bit later. And then, yes, the traditional Scrabble, Monopoly, Boggle.
Ooh, Boggle.
Any
Good
one
call
of
on that
those
one.
ones.
Yeah.
And then the big one was cribbage as well. So playing that with my grandparents, I still play that to them whenever I get the opportunity to. And then there's some really cool memories being up at Solid Beach at their trailer park and having a really intense game of cribbage with one of the old guys 2 doors down. And I ended up getting 3 aces and pegged out, so I just really stuck it to
I can
him.
probably guarantee you
times
that I
you-
have not played a game of cribbage in my life.
Yeah, it's a lot of math, and we've
So-
seen how that plays out in the podcast.
Feel as
for
though
ya.
Tyler and myself have to take a cooking class and play a game of cribbage.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like he'll beat you pretty badly.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Now, what about game nights nowadays? It looks a little bit different when you're a kid, right? So, do you have game nights with significant others or like friend groups? And then, do you enjoy a beverage when you play? Chris?
Well, first of all, absolutely, I enjoy a beverage while I play.
Nice.
You like a good apple juice, don't you?
I actually hate apple juice. You mentioned Skippo. My wife loves Skippo, and she has taught me how to play it. I'm not a big fan of it, but I am actually pretty good at it. So
I hate it, but I'm really good at it.
we do play that. Again, some more Scrabble. We got a bunch of board games. I love. I'll consider this a board game. Crokinole.
I love Crokinole.
Yeah.
Do you play with a cue or no?
Oh God, no.
No.
You got to
Can't do
use your
that.
fingers.
Yeah.
Humble brag. I'm amazing at Crokinole. So
Do you have
Let's
a
go.
championship that you've won?
no.
We're going to have one heck of a games night. Season 3, Craft Beer Connoisseurs and Joel.
We should do that. So yeah, I don't really play a ton of board games. I also, in terms of card games, like to play poker. That's kind of my card game now.
Texas
but,
Hold'em or what?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
That's about it for me.
Remember when poker was popular on TV?
Yeah,
Good time.
I loved that.
Right?
That-
Chris Moneymaker. dating
That got me
Medrano.
into it.
I
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
it online.
Yeah, me too.
Lost a lot of money, didn't you?
I did not.
It was
you go.
fake money.
No, I played with real money.
No, I know. So did I. But yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway, so myself, it's kind of changed more so into what do you meme? It's a big thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
We still do play Uno. When I ever go to the cottage, my wife's parents will have a big game of Uno. It's just when you get a +4, it's not really +4 in terms of cards. You still get the 4 cards. You also got to take 4 drinks.
oh my goodness, that's reckless.
Fun times, actually. So Canada Day 3 years ago, we were playing a bunch of Uno with our cottage neighbors, and it ended up being that there were 6 of us playing, and 5 of us puked. I was the one who did not. Before 6 o'clock, the game started at 4:30. My wife and my father-in-law were 2 of them that were throwing up. Made the best beer chicken on a barbecue you've ever had.
Okay. All right.
Great story.
So Joel has a couple of games that he likes to play. Outside spike ball, ladder ball, can jam. So some kind
Anything
of
with a ball.
Yeah, big ball guy. And then for myself, Cards Against Humanity is a big one. My wife, her friend group are like board game fanatics. So whenever we kind of get together with them, there's usually a board game involved. I enjoy it. I think it's a great opportunity to kind of like see different personalities. One game that we've played, which is a little bit insensitive right now, I guess, is Pandemic. So everybody kind of takes on a role. And it's kind of a cooperative board game.
So somebody takes like a role of like, being in their bedroom and then 6 feet away, like how?
Nope, that's not it at all.
I remember playing that with you and your wife.
New Year's
actually,
Eve.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was the New Year's Eve before COVID, wasn't it?
It was.
So it's all your fault, isn't it?
and 3 of us could drink and your wife couldn't.
Yeah.
She's pregnant with your daughter. So memories. Glad we have them. And that's the thing is you always have to have a drink in hand, so then that way you can enjoy it just a little bit more. But
Absolutely.
We're going to be right back with our farewell for the first episode of Season 3. All right, so that's going to be all for today's episode. Again, that's the first episode of Season 3, guys.
It is.
We did it. Thanks, Joel, for showing up.
We made it. Well, thank you again for listening, and keep on listening every other Thursday as Craft Beer Connoisseurs releases a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for a producer special.
And make sure to tell your friends, family, and your favorite air conditioner, because God, it's hot in here.
And before we kind of jump on, this episode is going to be released on
August 18th.
And in a couple of days, we're actually going to be at the Paris Drink Fest. So I thought it would be a good opportunity
Yes, you can actually meet us all.
to mention that.
Autographs.
So if
will
you
happen.
Autographs, yes. The coveted Craft Beer Connoisseurs autograph.
There you go. If you don't have your tickets, make sure you get some tickets. Paris Drink Fest in Paris, Ontario. We're going to be there Saturday afternoon. So the Saturday afternoon session.
12 to 5.
12 to 5.
Nice little live recording, too.
We'll be there. And we hope to see you guys there, too. So from all of us and producer Joel, I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Chris, and together, we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.